Hi guys, my name's Rhiannon and I'm going to be talking to you guys today about technology and children. So for parents in today's world of technology, it is a bit of a mystery, but what may take hours for them to figure out, it takes us teenagers seconds to do. It's just the way it works. Welcome to the techno age. With technology constantly advancing all the time, people feel the need to stay up with the newest and the limited editions of the iPhones or the iPads or Samsung Galaxies or whatever it may be. Researchers are now starting to focus on what technology does to the brain. However, adult brains tend to be a little bit lenient, and they tend to, because they've already been through the developmental stage, people aren't really bothered about it. However, they're starting to research what technology does to the young developing brains, for the young toddlers to adolescents and so on. So I see little kids, maybe 2 or 3 years old, walking around and they've got an iPad in their hand or they're carrying a phone and they know how to work them. Like, I didn't have that at that age. Obviously the technology wasn't around, but they know how to work these things, and it's insane to think about it. I mean, I can kind of get it as to why parents do this. It's if they work at home, they've got a toddler or a young child and they may be being a bit frustrating, it's easy to understand that they just put them in front of a television just so they can get that bit of peace and quiet just to focus, or an iPad or whatever it may be. However, this is actually doing some damage to the brain, and this is what parents really don't know. But yeah, as you can see, screens can be addictive. I mean, why wouldn't they be? You've got the bright flashing lights, you've got all the loud noises and all the sounds. You get excited when you pass that level of Angry Birds. It's exciting, and it's exciting for a child. So that's why they become addictive, and it's what is making them become addictive that is what's harming them. Anyway, technology is having a far greater effect on your child than what you think they may be having. When your child unlocks or opens a computer, an iPad or your phone or something, they're getting that feeling of sense of control, and it's a happy feeling. And they get this happy feeling from the chemical called dopamine, which is released into your brain. It's the happy chemical. However, this chemical is also linked to drug abuse and drug addictions in adults. So when kids play with iPads and stuff, they're getting that release of dopamine, and it's when they start playing with it excessively that it becomes an issue, because they actually have a screen addiction like a drug addiction. It's very similar, and it does deteriorate the brain, and it does complicate things and make things a bit more harder for people to communicate, and it does affect them. It does affect their future. So yeah, so you'll see teenagers nowadays going everywhere with their phones, like they can't live without it. I mean, it's great, you get a phone, and it's not just the phone nowadays. I mean, you get the old Nokia phones and you can't play games, you can text, that's about it. But with the phones nowadays, there's so many things you can do in it. You've got a camera in it, you've got a video camera, you can text everyone, you get internet. It's insane, and it's sad to think that all these teenagers are going out with their friends, but they're on their phone with their friends. Like, don't you want to be spending time with your friends? It's actually bad. It's actually teaching kids bad social interactions, and so, like, getting out there. So what happens when a young child sees someone on their phone all the time, that's also sending them the message that that's what's normal, that's what they're supposed to do. So role modeling is actually also not a good thing. So if you've got a very young child, got a toddler, and they see you on your phone all the time, watching TV all the time, they will also get this release of dopamine, and they'll learn, because children do a lot of learning through observational. So kids will see this and think, that's what I have to do. That's what's normal, which is actually really bad. So I suggested that when parents are around, if you're around younger kids and stuff, don't go on your phones or don't show them you own technology all the time. Just try and interact with them, be sociable. However, technology isn't all bad for kids. There are some positives about technology. For instance, it can be a great education tool if it is used the right way. So if you give your toddler an iPad, say, here, learn, they're not going to learn. It's not going to happen. So what is actually really helpful with kids with learning with technology is if you as a parent sit down with them and go through it with them and talk to them and explain things to them, it actually really helps that way, and they learn a lot better, and they're also getting social interaction. It's just not the relationship between the screen and them, it's the relationship between you, them and the screen, or what's on the screen, and how they're learning through what's on the screen. They also learn hand-eye coordination from it, or more of it. Instead of like doing things with a bat and ball and stuff, they learn how to follow something on a screen. So they've got to follow their finger with it, and then they get the reward. So they do learn a bit of hand-eye coordination skills. Obviously it's not as active. They're not getting that sense of like fresh air and everything. That is actually also really good for the brain. But it does teach them hand-eye coordination. Same with the fine-tuned motor skills that they learn from like painting or drawing. They will learn this through a screen as well. However, technology in young children can be quite bad because they won't get enough hands-on time. So for younger kids that were growing up, like when I was growing up, there wasn't a lot of technology around. There was TV and DVD players and VCRs and stuff, but there wasn't really like phones and iPads and everything like that just yet. But so for kids and toddlers, how they get to know everything and how they learn the boundaries and what's harmful is by touch. They just touch everything. So if they're just on a screen all the time, they're not going to learn what a stick could do, or what sand is, or how to create and build things with sand. Same with the building blocks, they won't know how to build, so they actually do learn life skills through touching and stuff. You just don't know it. So yeah, that's something that should be doing, is to encourage kids to build and to paint, to get the creative side, not just to be stuck in front of a screen all the time, because it's not helpful. It can also be too much stimulation for a child. For a very young toddler, all of this noises and sounds and bright colours and stuff can be a lot of stimulation for a child. So they may be on this for such a young, quite some time, so an iPad for quite some time, and then they may have a low. So you may get that peace and quiet, but then like on all kids when they have a sugar high, there's a low to it. So you may put your child in front of a television or something for an hour, or an iPad for half an hour, or whatever, and you think, oh yeah, that's fine, peace and quiet. Usually the rest of the day is going to be difficult. That side. Is that children who spend a lot of time on technology will have some social problems when they grow up. So they won't have that social skills they would have built. They also may be shy. They may be timid, shy, don't really know how to interact with others, which is probably where this is sort of heading with children growing up in technology nowadays. I know what's happening in teenagers nowadays, because when they're at friends' house, what are they doing? They're on their phones, just texting away. It's kind of annoying actually, to be honest. I don't like it. But yeah, so there are positives and there are negatives for both technology. However, the main focus that I'm showing is that technology can be helpful if it's got the right amount of time that it's used for, and it isn't used excessively as well, and how it is used is also good. And part of my research, it is suggested that infants from 0 to 2 years of age should have no contact at all, nothing with technology. It is really bad for their brains because they are so young and they're so just fragile. 3 to 5 year olds should be limited to about an hour a day max. So this could be little snippets here and there, or it could be all at once. I'd probably say little snippets, like they can watch a TV show when they get home or something that only goes for about 10-20 minutes, and then they can do something else, or if it's part of their schoolwork and stuff, then they can go on it then. And then it says 6 to 18 year olds should be limited 2 hours a day. However, with school, it's a bit hard for people who are in, say, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so 13 to 18 year olds. It is very hard to get that limit of 2 hours a day, considering how much of our school time is done with technology, with all of the smart boards instead of whiteboards nowadays, and the computer rooms and laptops, and all the assignments need to be done on laptops and stuff. It is very hard to get that limit, as well as teenagers tending to like to kind of absorb into movies and games and Xbox and PlayStations and all that sort of stuff. So that is more of an unrealistic time amount, but for probably 6 to 13 year olds, it's probably around what should be done. Just my advice to you is to limit the amount of time that you have, or limit the amount of time your children have with technology. Set some boundaries, so like no technology before school, do some reading with them, interact with them, or just interact with your kids more, and it will reduce that amount of screen time, and it'll also build your relationship with your child much better. So yeah, just limit the amount of time with them and just make sure what they are doing is learning and it is beneficial for them, and it's so then that way it won't release that chemical dopamine in their brain and it won't affect their learning. So that's all I have to say. Thank you. Could you please fill out the survey below, and that would be really helpful. Thank you.